Welcome to Home's Room. Just like homeroom, we start off our day getting together with our homies, swapping stories, even a little kiss and tell action. This podcast contains language not suitable for younger listeners, topics about sex and mental health. Discretion is advised. Our views are our own. Let class begin. I got an extra little clip here. Kaitlin just decided a very good idea, and I'm gonna give her all of the credit for that one because I didn't think about it. But what are we doing here, Kaitlin?
So we are here to wish a very sweet, sweet woman who makes the best Christmas quiche, I've been told, a very, very happy birthday. And that is the interviewee in this week's episode, our very own Mama Holmes of the Holmes Room podcast, which she's Mama. Sorry, not Mama Holmes. She's Mama
Faye.
Yeah, Mama Faye. Mama Faye. She's Mama Faye. And this is bonus content for this episode. We want to give her a very special shout out and a happy birthday. And all of you need to go show her some love in the comments of this episode or on the Instagram page for this, or the Instagram post for this episode. Matt is a genius and scheduled this episode that it comes out the week of her birthday. So this episode's coming out on Monday. Her birthday is this Thursday. So happy birthday, Mama Faye. We're so thankful that you sat down and spent some time talking to us and imparted some wisdom. This is now several weeks later after we actually did the interview that we're sitting here to record this. And I will tell you, I'm still learning to let stuff go. But just re-listening to the episode, I'm sure is going to give me a great sense of peace and like a good reminder of, hey, I need to work it out or it's going to work me out.
There you go. Yeah, happy birthday, Mom. I love you. And, one of those things that like came from this is how much you're adored. And I hopefully, you realize that. And, when I'm a jerk and pick on you, it's because I love you. Happy birthday, Ma.
Happy birthday, Mama Faye.
Happy birthday. Welcome to Home's Room. We are recording a special episode. When last you heard us speak, Kaitlin, who's here with me, said, who we should interview? Your mom. And not in like that way where like maybe we were joking with each other. So I said, fine, okay, I guess I'll reach out to her if she wants to do it. We'll see. So I reached out to my mom, and as brave as I am to jump on here, she said, yeah, okay. So said, how about you do it at the time where Kaitlin and I normally record, and we make it an interview, and I'll just kind of sit back and chime in with stories and see where it goes. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Are you excited for this?
I'm so excited.
Kaitlin?
I have heard like obviously nothing but wonderful things about her, and like to be able to sit down and for this to be part of your badass interviews of women series, I think is super appropriate too, because that was the brainchild of you and you are her child. So
yeah. I'm glad you said it. I was like, I didn't mention that at the beginning, but that is what this is part of, is the badass, boss girls or badass women that I am excited to talk to you for a myriad reasons, because it is number one, time, but number two, like I just enjoy giving people a voice, and if I can give people a voice that like not only deserve it but kind of don't have as much respect as they should be given, like all the better. And
absolutely.
I love that. So,
I love it. I'm excited to pick your mom's brain. See, you're too. Matt Holmes, this is Holmes Room, and that's Mama Holmes.
It is. I think that it's going to be a good conversation, because you'll probably learn about me, but also like I don't know what she's gonna say. And as ridiculous as I am, my mom is like kind of even keeled, but still ridiculous in her own right. So like, well, we'll see. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Let's do it. So, I love it.
We got a guest, we got a host, and I think we ready to let her in and see how this
I
goes.
think so. Let's do it. I don't want to. I don't want to
All
surprise her or
right.
anything. Just be like boo, but oh, Mama Holmes.
you you there?
I'm here. You hear me?
Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe?
I don't know.
Yes,
What do
we
you
can
mean, maybe?
hear you, Faye. He's picking on
Okay.
you, I think.
Oh, nope, I couldn't. She didn't pop up yet. So
I
yeah,
could.
like I couldn't see her. Yeah. You guys got lucky, I guess. I don't know. My computer's slow or something. I don't know. Hi, Mom.
Hello.
How are you? Thanks for dinner, by the
You're
way.
welcome. Thanks for coming over.
Oh, what'd she cook you?
She had ribs on the grill, potato salad, which she specially made a second bowl for me without celery because I'm not necessarily a celery fan. And she got a cherry pie for me. But I'm not gonna lie, I feel like she tried to butter me up because she knew this interview was today, and she tried to be extra nice.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like I
I'm
missed
not
out.
gonna argue with that.
It sounds like I missed a
um,
great dinner at it sounds like that was awesome. Holy crap, Mama Faye, you might have to send me your potato salad recipe.
Oh yeah, sure.
I'm hopeless to the kitchen.
All right. So, mother, this is Kaitlin, my
Good to
co-host.
meet you, Kate.
Co-host
Nice to
Kaitlin,
meet
this
you
is my mother.
too.
For everybody out there, they waved at each other. This is Faye, my mom, Mama Holmes, as Kaitlin called her, or Faye,
You
whatever
can
you
call
wanna
me
whatever
Faye.
you wanna go. I call her, yeah, I call her Ma. So like
Or
she's just Ma to me. So
I love it.
all right, so we got some questions, and I want to ask the first question. So are you ready for some questions?
Sure.
All right. So the first question is, why am I your favorite child? Yeah, I was hoping to get that face.
Oh
Well,
Lord.
right off the bat, put me on the spot.
I'm not expecting to answer it. I know why. I know why. I'm
Yeah,
just kidding. I love you, sisters. I love
I
you.
have a reason for a favorite reason for each one of you. So
What a political answer.
Wow. Yeah. Good job.
What a purely political answer. I'm gonna have to store that one back in the back of my head. I'm gonna need that someday in my
yeah,
arsenal with my because I have one boy, one girl, and I'm gonna tell them all the time, "You're my favorite daughter, Ava. You're my favorite
I
son."
like it.
exactly.
All right.
See, and now you see where I get it.
I love it. It's great. Automatically can tell. So thank you so much for being open and willing to sit down and do this, Faye. I think it's wonderful. And the
Sure.
support that you've given Matt while he's been cranking out episodes and definitely launching into a new project that has put both of us outside of our comfort zones. Thank you so much for willing to be a part of that. For our listeners, please introduce yourself. Like, what are the things that are grossly important for you to communicate to our listeners about who you are?
First of all, let me just say family. Um, my family is very important to me. They're my lifeline, and I couldn't do it without them. Each one of them brings a different special uh, meaning to my life. So that is my first and foremost characteristic. Second of all, my faith. Um, and I won't go into a whole lot of that but it, it's it's my it actually should be my first, but and then just life, living my life, and um, keeping it real and keeping it calm, and um,
Ooh, those are like two, in my world, those are two contradicting things. How do you keep it real and keep it calm? Please teach me your ways.
the best way to do both is to just relax and not let anything bother you. It's tomorrow's going to come no matter what, and it may be whatever happened today may be behind you tomorrow, or it may be there tomorrow too, but if you get to tomorrow and it's there, you deal with it the same way you dealt with it today.
Tomorrow's problem. I wish that would help
Yeah.
me with two teething tiny humans right now, but that is today,
Yeah, that could
tonight,
be a
and
challenge.
tomorrow's problem.
Yeah.
I can only say that it gets better. It gets easier. They get as they get to be more independent, it gets a lot easier. I used to call them low maintenance and high maintenance. So
Low maintenance and high maintenance. I'm already starting to see some of that with my toddler. She is a chip off the old block. I have met my match, Faye. She
they are challenging, and the thing is, they learn stuff that you never would have dreamed.
What would be something that you would want to, what's something you'd want to tell somebody that might be on the fence about having kids someday?
Um, can repeat that again? I
Yeah,
was having
you're totally
technical
fine.
here, so
What is something that you would like to say to somebody who might be on the fence about having kids someday? Because that's a real thing that I feel like people my age and maybe younger too are starting to really think seriously about. So what would you tell somebody about?
I would probably advise them or encourage them to look inside themselves and see if they're willing and ready to give pieces of themselves away, because that's what you're going to be doing. Um, and then if that's not a question, and until you can answer that question with, I guess, not a definite yes, but you feel that you can do that, then there's a possibility, a strong possibility, then you're ready. But if not, take your time.
Take your time, folks. Don't get knocked up exactly a month after you get married.
Well, yeah. But if you do, it's not a bad thing. The thing is that when I um knew that it was a very real thing, that I was going to be responsible for this little human being, and I can tell you now, I brought her home from the hospital and I laid her in the middle of the bed and I looked and I was like, what do I do with it? And so, but it just 2 weeks later, it was just everything was flowing. So it doesn't take a long time. You have that mom instinct in you, you have that parental instinct in you, and it just, if you just relax, like I said, because everything in my life is about relax.
Man, we need to
Then
keep Faye coming around. I need more of that energy. I tell you what.
then yeah, things just started to flow, and I looked around, and, hey, I'm doing this. So
I tell the ladies at daycare where my kids go, because they get so panicked if they've there's a kid who's a biter and they keep beating themselves
Ooh.
up when this kid keeps biting other kids. And I'm like, everybody's just trying to do the best that they can. Like, you're not going to catch 100% of the things all the time. It's okay. Like, it's no sweat off your back. And that's really, they're younger girls. So I said, that's the secret of parenthood, is nobody knows what the heck that they're doing. We're all just trying to make the best choices that we can with the information that we have at the time. And it's okay if we
Preach.
fail. I'm going to go back and rewatch that next time I'm beating myself up about failing.
the thing is, kids are
Good.
resilient. They adjust to whatever. This is what there is, and that's what they're going to learn, and that's what they're going to get used to, and that's what they're going to follow through and follow into, um, and that's the other thing, is that's why you have to kind of be careful, because you're shaping a little human being.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely. And it's funny that you bring up the word resilient, because right before this interview, I asked Matt, what are 3 words that you would use to describe your mom? And resilient was one of them.
wow, okay,
So what,
good to know.
so is that something that is that how you see yourself?
Yeah, I see myself as, I mean, what's going to come is going to come. and how you react to it is gonna determine how you get through it. And so it's not the end of I take everything as it's not the end of the world, because tomorrow is going to be a different day, and like 2 weeks from now I won't even, you know, it may not, I may not even think about it. So, and here I am past it and moving on. So
Man, you got grounded energy, Faye. I like it.
a
See,
lot
I told you, and
there.
that's one of those things for me. Like I said, it always throws me off because like I'm super laid back, and I get it from both parents, but like when when you grow up with people that are just like whatever, like we'll figure it out. It's hard to grow up being so worried and concerned about everything, because like it's just a problem that needs solved. If I can't solve it today, I'm gonna solve it tomorrow. If I can't solve it tomorrow, well.
It'll be there until I figure it out, or it'll either I'll wear it out or it'll wear me out. So
Ooh, either it'll wear me or I'll wear it out or it will wear me out. I'm going to repeat that.
Instagram
I'm going to,
posts.
I'm writing that down, Faye. You think I'm kidding?
well,
It'll wear. Oh, go ahead.
So
Sorry.
so how's this going for you so far, Mom? You enjoying your time here?
I am. I'm not a little less nervous than I was while I was sitting here waiting. So
I told you earlier. I said the most nervous part for me is when I'm sitting here waiting for somebody to check into the lobby, and then once the conversation starts flowing and you pop on and it's like, "Oh, it's just a conversation." And it's been 13 minutes and 51 seconds since we started recording, so a little bit less than that since you started recording, and you're still
I
here.
know.
You haven't ran away yet.
Oh,
And you know what? I thought about what would happen. I did think about it.
I would laugh.
so, Faye, my next question for you. Do you have a lesson that you wish that you had learned earlier in life where
Yeah,
you finally learned it? You finally learned it, but you were like, I would have saved myself a lot of grief if I had learned this earlier.
probably would. One of the main things would be just don't sweat the little stuff. Just pretty much.
At what whenabouts did you learn that finally and start to put it into practice in your life?
I believe that would probably be when I had 3 teenagers.
Oh
Three
man.
very different teenagers that I had to learn, individual differences and what this one, and sort it out. And it's kind of like those 3 section laundry baskets. You kind of
Yeah.
so, um, so yeah, just learning to, and then that carried over into seeing other individuals
Yeah.
as who they are and as different, and learning to appreciate their differences and work with their differences and not let it, you know um not get uptight about, because it's not me, it's not my way. um that everybody's different and everybody's, so yeah, that's pretty much one of the things that, because Matt will probably tell you that a little bit of a perfectionist. Um, and I'm a creature of habit, so I like everything the same way every time, um, and so that has also helped me to let go of those kinds of things and just, okay, well, it wasn't the way I would have done it, but it worked, so it's okay.
So what you're saying is you learn to give up control?
Pretty
What?
much,
Crazy.
pretty much. I have. You guys have taught me that. It took me a long time to learn that, to let them be adults, because eventually you're not going to be there. Um, they're going to be out on their own, and you can't control them from where you are if they're way over there. So, um, and the other thing is just relax, and because every time, and I'll tell you, every time I worry, they do something to show me there was no need to worry. So, and I just kind of had to learn from that. Just and I mean, it carries over into how you interact with the world in general. So,
Man, she's dropping all kinds of nuggets. I'm like, I should just be taking notes the whole time. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, can you tell us a little bit what it was like having 3 teenagers?
um, it was different. It was challenging. It was fun. Um, I loved watching them, and what are they gonna do next, and just see them do amazing things that amaze me, and um, not having to worry about, did they get what I taught them? Do they use what I taught them? Um, they always showed me that they do. So,
What's the age
um,
difference between all 3 of them?
um, 5 years between the first two, and 3 years between the second two, and Matt's the youngest.
You were all spread out in those teenage years, Faye, man.
I was, I was. The other thing that helped a lot was living in a house where my room was on this side of the house and the other side of the house. So,
Noted for floor plans too. Okay.
right. So if you ever, when you get to have teenagers, that you might think about that.
Oh my goodness. What is it like watching Matt grow up and have daughters of his own?
Um, I hadn't really thought about before when he was, you know, becoming a young adult. I hadn't really pictured him married and or having children, and so um I think I kind of knew that he would be a good dad because he's always just been really smart. He's been um easygoing, and he was a very easygoing, teenager as well. Little mischievous, but what boy isn't? So um and just watching him, basically you just sit and watch. You watch, and if you have to learn not to give any input unless it's asked for. But
Ooh.
that's another little nugget there for you.
Faye, I got some
Because
family members that I need you to
you,
teach that to.
yeah, but you have to trust that you raised them right, and that they're going to use what you gave them, and they will show you that they do. So,
Awesome. Um,
but watching him as a dad now, I think sometimes it's amazing because I grew up. My dad was not. He was just maybe 25% playful, 75% stern. So, just watching that with his girls, um, it's a lot more playful, uh, loving kind of interaction, um, but yet it's total line. So, so it's a good combination. It's a good mix. I think so.
do you agree with that, Matt?
I do. I think if anything has come from this podcast, it's like that thing where I am regimented, I am like disciplined in a lot of ways, but also like I want to have fun. And I've said it enough times, like I fucking love my daughters, and I want them to know that I was there for them, and that I was showed up, and that I was present, and they think back to their like childhood, and the first thing that comes to their mind is friggin' dad. Like that's what I want. So.
I think you'll get that.
So, Faye, part of this interview is this Boss Babe series that Matt is doing, where we are making sure that we are giving strong women the opportunity to have a voice, be interviewed, give us little gold nuggets. And I wanted to ask you specifically about times in your life when there were other women who supported you when you needed it the most, and the importance of community over competition. Do you have any advice for other young women like myself about why we should be taking every opportunity to support community over competition?
Absolutely. Definitely. I am not the competitive type. I kind of know who I am. I know that I'm smart. I know that I'm good at whatever. So I don't need to compete. And you're not going to find, if there's going any inkling of competition going on, you're going to find me moving away from, stepping back. And if that's how you have to do it, that's fine. Um, but also, I support you in whatever you do. I hope that you have success, because we all, we're in this together, and we should all, succeed. Um, and there shouldn't be any reason to resent someone else because they get farther along than you, or that because you have to have that confidence in yourself. So when you have that confidence in yourself, then it becomes very easy to support someone else and to be happy for them when they, good things happen, and, to feel um, not bad for them, but to feel, uh, caring, to care that, well, this didn't go right, and I'm sorry that, it didn't work out for you, but you know what? You got to move on to the next big thing. You can't look back. That's in the past. That's gone. Let's move forward. You know, figure out what's next, what's next. So, um, and just encourage you. You gave this a try. It maybe there were a few glitches, but what do you learn from it? And I one of the other things that I've learned is to figure out what I'm supposed to learn from it. So,
Question. Uh, can you let everybody know how many sisters you have? So you grew up with, a support system of women. So let everybody know how many sisters you
I have
have.
7 sisters,
Faye.
How many?
and
How
I have
many?
four
Like, yeah.
brothers.
Oh,
So
Lord.
I have 11,
Yeah.
11 sisters. I mean, 11 siblings. So, and
Yeah.
there was always one for all and all for one. We were, I'm very low in the pecking order. So, but I was just very content to sit back. You guys lead, I'll follow. I'll be fine. So,
So you're one of the youngers? One of the younger of the
I'm
11?
number I'm number 9 of 12.
Okay. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So with that, I think, there's a certain level of like support where like you already have a gang of people behind you coming up saying, "Nah, you got this. I got your back," or "Don't be picking on my little sister." So, growing up in an environment where I had a ton of cousins, I had a ton of aunts and uncles and, family that's extended and this, that, and the other thing. And, they're a Southern family at that. So, it's thick as thieves and this blood's thicker than water, like all of those things. So when you grow up in that environment, I think it's hard for people to grow up and be like, I'm not going to support people. So what do you think? Did that play a part in your ability to like see and support people? The fact that had a lot of people around you already supporting?
Yeah, I think so. I had, well, and I'm not gonna say which sisters, but there were 2 of my sisters were my mentors from the time I was in junior high all the way through college and even now. So um, they taught me incredible things that has helped shape me into who I am um, in my personal life, in my educationally, professionally, and so that support. was, incredibly a good launch into life for me growing up. So, and then, all of my siblings have always been, um, supportive and helpful with I could go to any one of them at any time with any problem, and um, they would help, and they, in whatever way they could, without question, without, so, um, having that family back, that group behind you, yes, that is definitely,
What an
um,
insane support system. That many siblings in your corner? That's
yeah,
incredible.
and we still do. We we get together once a month over Zoom because everybody's in different places around the country. So it's kind of something that, I guess we all look forward to every month. Um, and we just did it yesterday. So, um, and as soon as we were ending that, siblings that weren't there able to make it into the meeting, um, boom, called me. So, so I still talk to them, uh, offline.
They were
So
missing you too. That's awesome.
yeah,
So, what do you do professionally, Faye?
I am a physical therapist of 20 years, 23 years. I've been a physical therapist. I've been on the same job for 19 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you get a little bit more specific about physical therapy and what it is for our listeners that may not know?
Yes. So physical therapy is clinical practice where we work with people to, get them people who have lost their function because of illness, such as strokes and, um, diseases like Parkinson's and uh, multiple sclerosis and other neurological head injuries, you know, spinal cord injuries, different things that will cause you to lose function, mobility, and strength. And so what we do is through clinical practice, we, rehabilitate them, um, to be able to go on and function, in their homes independently as much as possible, and using whatever aids that they need. Um, we seek to make them as independent, so able to use the least restrictive aid that they can use, such as, say, a cane, a walker over a wheelchair, a cane over a walker, um, whatever will make them the most independent, and able to, go back to their homes and live and, function both in their homes and in the community. So
And you've done that for how many years? 20 something?
I've done it for 23 years. It'll be 23 years this year.
23 years. I have bet you have been able to make some magic and make some people help heal them.
I kind of don't like to toot my own horn, but um, I am very. I do get very excited when I see someone who came to be like this and now they're like this, and it's like, and you know in my mind it's like I did that, but I just try to keep it low key. So
You did that though. You should be
but
celebrating.
I like for them to think that they did more than I did.
Okay, so this is where I get my mentality on this from. When I coach skaters, I would tell them all the time, and they're like, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to do this." And I'm sure she gets it all the time, where it's like, my feet aren't in your skates. I can't make you do that thing. And I think we both kind of share that. Like, I'm just facilitating and giving you the exercises. It's up to you to do them and to continue to do them. And I think that's where I get that like student teacher vibe from, is because I watched her do it for so long. And shout out to Howard. I watched her be a student and fight through school to make it as a mom of three teenagers, and watched her start her career and start from what like you started before we even moved to Kansas,
I
right? You
did.
started
I
when you were
graduated
still in.
the year that we moved to Kansas. I graduated from PT school.
So
But I tell you
it's
that
just it's awesome.
he was very instrumental in my education because he used to let me use him as a guinea pig to practice on. So
I've always been brave. I've always been brave.
Oh my goodness. And why did you decide to go through PT school?
partially because of the influence of my sister. Um, her seeing how what things interested me and when I was, going through like junior high and high school, she was like, you would probably be really interested if you went to physical therapy. And so I did. Took me a while, but I did. Uh, I finally got, you know, into school. And it just so she was my biggest influence, and also one of my brothers was born with a physical disability, and so it was always me, like when all the others would go off and they go on these hikes and they go to the and he wasn't able to walk as well as everybody else, I'm just going to say. And sometimes I'd just stay behind, and so he'd have somebody. He wouldn't be there sitting all alone, and he'd have somebody. um so he was also part of what prompted me to go into physical
That's
therapy.
amazing.
So
And so you were going through PT school with 3 teenagers.
I was, yes.
Oh, Lord.
It wasn't, well, and they, it wasn't because they were good kids. So over
Huh.
or I thought they were good kids. I hear the stories now that I didn't know back then.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah, so it kind of it's it's a shock. When I hear some of these stories that I never knew happened um, until they're old enough to tell me, because I can no longer punish or
Discipline.
reprimand or whatever.
So when
So
you're going through PT, you've seen stroke injuries, head injuries, spinal injuries, things of that nature. What is something that, like, I know that most nurses who have seen compound fractures and things like that are like, I will never let my children have a trampoline. What is,
I have.
oh gosh. Oh man. What's something that you are like super convicted because you've seen injuries or you've seen what something can do, the types of injuries that can happen to somebody, whether it be stroke, whether it be a spinal injury. I'm thinking like taking better care of your health earlier on. Maybe what are some things, or what are some things to avoid because of the injuries that you have seen in your 23 years of physical therapy?
um I think the biggest thing is like really, really think about the risk. Think about, I mean, the here and the now is going to be fun to do this right now, but what could be on this side, of and what is that risk? Um, Even for stroke, I mean, stress, deal with stress in your life. Don't let it consume you. Uh, don't, how would I say, just don't be one big ball of stress. Take some time and relax for yourself, breathe, you know, sit down for even 5 minutes. Um, I used to go lock myself in the bathroom a lot when they were teenagers. So although they stick notes under the door, but
Oh my gosh, I love it.
they slide notes under the door. So but just take a few minutes and, as much as you can, decompress and then get back out there. Um, but also just exercise, keep moving, take care of yourself. Um, and anytime anything feels off, don't shrug it off, investigate it.
Okay. I like it. Kind of switching gears here. What is something that you hope for your granddaughters when they grow up?
Well, I hope that they can be independent women. I hope that they can know that their individuality, their strengths, um, they can do anything that they put their heads to do, not to let someone tell you you can't do it because you're a woman. Um, be strong, you know, take take it in stride, and if it, just know when to walk away from it. Um, but uh, pursue your dreams, just whatever it may be. Yeah, I mean, it took me long. It took me as long as it did for me to become a physical therapist. Let's see, I was in school 9 years, including PT school.
Wow.
So, well, with three teenagers, you're not going full time to school. Um, and so, but you can do anything. I hope that they can excel and know their intelligence and that they're smart, and they're already showing that. So I think they're going to start on it, but I think they're farther ahead than I was at their age. But and I always had parents.
That's
I
good.
always had parents that encouraged me. They encouraged all of us academically. So um, regardless of financial hardship, you know, distance, you can, you know, if you want to go to school way over here, then go for it. It's, nothing. I mean, for them to know the things that aren't totally limiting for
Mm-hmm.
them, um, and dream big.
Oh, I got a
Yeah.
feeling that
Yeah.
might already be happening, and I hope it just continues.
Yes,
That's
yes.
Absolutely. Can you tell us about your parents, Faye?
Yes. My father was an industrial real estate, and he worked in Times Square, New York.
Really?
Um, yes. And so, um, and my mother was a private nurse for, um, and so she worked in New York, as well. Um, she was born in Atlanta. My siblings and I all were born in North Carolina. Um, and our parents they were very, very adamant about education. I mean, if you were sick, you got up and you didn't feel well, they'd tell you go to school, and if you don't feel good, call me and I'll come get you. But go to school. Started out by going to school, and most of the time you went to school and you stayed all day and you didn't have to call. Um, and so they encouraged us just to go as far as you can, um, and whatever, we'll deal with obstacles. We'll deal with whatever we have to deal with. But if it's for you, then it's going to happen. And so they were very family oriented. So they made sure that we stuck up for each other, that um, we were, kept that tight, close knit um, fabric in our family. Um, and neither one of them, they were both neither one of them went beyond high school in education. So um, that probably is, another reason why they were so, they pushed us so hard academically. Um, but
We've kind of talked about it in a past episode about education, and we've talked about student loans and the availability of education. Do you think that formal education is maybe not what it used to be, or what are your thoughts on college degrees versus real world experience?
um, unfortunately, I mean, based on my observation, in the world that we live in now, college education is, you know, it's going to take you farther than uh, you're going to go without it. But if you are enterprising, if you are a person who will go for what you want, um, and it can be done, and it's all inside of you. So um, that's up to you, college education or get right out there. Either way, if you got that drive and you know, um, the story that I used to always tell my kids is that, and my dad told me the story about a man was sitting on the bank of a river, and a young man came along. He was a very successful uh, rich man, and this young man came along and sat next to him and asked him, um, "What's the secret to your success?" And the man just got up, walked down into the river, and he went in waist deep, and he came down. He summoned the guy to come down to him, and the guy walked into the water and stood next to him, and he pushed him down up under the water, and he held him for a couple of seconds, and then he let him up, and he's like, "What? Why?" And he pushed him down again, and he held him, and he came up, and he said, "What is wrong with you?" And he said, when you want success as much as you want that breath of air, you'll get it." So
Oh, I think we might have our clip for the episode. That's really
Yeah,
good.
there you go.
yeah, so
The only
that's kind of what they encouraged in us. So
That is outstanding. And instantly what goes into my brain is when I was in college, me and all my friends would say, when we're as excited to see a man as we are the cheese dip and margaritas at Mexican for dinner, then we'll know that we're ready to marry. And that's
right,
it's,
it makes sense.
it's not the same thing, but that's instantly what popped into my brain.
So I love that, and I think that is, uh, I mean, not where I was going to go with it, Kaitlin, but I appreciate that. What I remember us having to do, and this is, kind of where success is breeded, is every morning when we brush our teeth, we used to have a cut out, printed out sheet of paper that said "good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your
Yeah,
better is best." Yeah, I remember that. It used to make me say it
I
every
know,
morning. It was before
I
school,
know.
so and that is the mentality that I've carried because that's what I mean. Yeah, so
It's
you know,
still
always
today.
always striving to be better.
Absolutely.
I love it. Oh my goodness. Where what do you want for yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I want to retire.
Yeah.
That is what I'm looking forward to, and I'm kind of I mean, I want to retire, but I don't want to retire because I'm doing what I do. I feel like I'll miss doing what I do, so I'm kind of, and that's why it's not happening for me because I can't make up my mind. I kind of flip
Mm-hmm.
flop. Um, but I would like to be able to pursue some things that um, are more for my personal um, enjoyment.
Would you ever
So
consider writing a book?
I don't know about a book. I every once in a while I have this urge to write maybe an article, but
Ooh,
not a book. So,
we get her hooked up with a
um,
blog, Matt.
Yeah, we should. That would be
Because I
fun.
gotta tell you, I think you have a very unique perspective about having so many siblings, having a support system like that. And I'm sure, Faye, you got some great stories of growing up in a house full of 11
oh
other
yeah,
siblings.
oh yeah, oh yeah, mischievous stuff, and especially brothers, older brothers, because all but one are older than me. So, um, but
Which,
just
if I could,
great role
yeah,
models
I
though.
believe it. Yeah. What's the age difference between you and the oldest?
14
Okay.
years.
I've got 12 years between me and my brother. So I kind of, he's always more of like a second dad, maybe. You probably won't agree with that, but I just saw him, I don't know. Maybe that's just our family dynamic too, but okay, 14 years.
Yeah, actually, there are 20 between the oldest and the youngest.
Oh, your
Yeah,
mother,
and yes, had babies
your
before
mother
me.
is an angel. I did too, and I was like, nope, can't do it.
Yeah, I know. I, it had to be Matt because I wanted a girl and a boy, and I got two girls, and I was not accepting anything. So he's my miracle child because I was not having anything but a boy, and I got my boy. So
I love it.
And
Oh,
she's
come
regretted it ever
on.
since.
When you see the younger generation and you see how much in a hurry we are and how much we want to, you wish we could slow down. Faye, I had somebody the other day, we are still dealing with some of my dad's estate stuff. And I have a bill on his estate that I need to pay. And
Yeah.
wow. And but yeah, just and you're gonna get there. Just don't be. It's not gonna happen overnight. It never happened overnight for anybody. Hard work, maybe it did, but guess what? How much more do you appreciate where you got? Or I mean,
it never happened overnight
I,
for anybody. I needed to talk to you right
I
now, Faye. I gotta tell you.
well, it doesn't.
you know what
It
I
doesn't
love?
happen overnight for most of us. Put it that way. I wouldn't say anybody, but
She has students. She's one of those like medical professionals that has students, and I think that that was a perfect question for her simply because I know that she shares that sentiment a lot. Where she's like, "Man, I just wish these students would like calm down. They come out of school expecting that they know everything, and then it's like you don't know
Mm-hmm.
half of what you need to know to be doing this every day, and that's people's lives you're playing with." And I think that, like I said, that's a good question to ask, and I think the mentality of like you're never done learning is absolutely
it is
true because you're never
absolutely.
done
I'm
learning.
I'm not done learning. Even in my profession of physical therapy, I Google a lot. So trust me, I Google a lot. They taught me how to Google, and that was one thing I learned that's been so valuable to me. So
Oh my goodness. That is funny. So see the
well, I don't Google a lot, but I Google often.
teaching and
So,
learning all of the time. And I also
but also learn to recognize what you can learn from someone who's a little more
mhm.
experienced. Yes, you were a great student. You had 4.0 GPA, and you know a lot of stuff, but it isn't all. And that's what I tell it's not all book learning. People are not textbook. People are humans, and everybody's body's different, and everybody's thinking is different. And the textbook is only going to take you but so far. So, and this person who's been doing it 20 years, and you haven't even been doing it 20 days. So, think about what you could learn from this person. Don't be so eager to get out there and And it's always good because employers always want you to, they want you to come in there with confidence, knowing, you know, I know this, I have this education, I know this, and I can, but I'm never going to put anybody out there and just turn them loose and, okay, here, you're out there, go do it. Observe, learn. Even I like when my students teach me something.
I love it.
So
Hey, Kaitlin, that's that thing where you're like, hey, old dinosaurs, maybe I have information too. I'm not saying she's an old dinosaur. I'm saying that other people are old
oh,
dinosaurs. I would never call you old, right?
Faye,
Wink,
we've
wink,
talked.
wink.
It was a prior conversation where we talked about how I work in a very male dominated field. And then I feel that I have maybe been treated differently because of my gender working in law enforcement, which is a very male dominated field. But then there's also a fun being treated maybe differently as well because of my age. And my snappy response has always been, okay, well, I was in second grade when you graduated the police academy. And also, when you don't need to explain to you what Facebook or Reddit is so that we can all do our job, then we can talk about me leaving.
exactly.
So, all right, spur of the moment, last question, because we are unfortunately nearing the end of our interview here. I have to believe that in your 23 years of physical therapy, you have experienced clients who are experiencing a mental block where you know they can do something and maybe they just don't believe in themselves. Even if it's not necessarily PT related, I think mental blocks can happen anywhere and everywhere. Do you have any advice for those of us who are nervous to dream, nervous to push ourselves further, or nervous to just like take that scary leap because we have a mental block?
Um, yeah, that's a tough one. Um, you know what you know, and you know what you've learned and what you've taught, been taught. Um, Figure out a way to use it. Figure out the best way to use it. And if you don't, I mean, get out there, but don't be afraid to
Mhm.
ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for advice. Don't be afraid to ask someone how they're feeling about what you're doing. And just know who you're dealing with. Be observant. Definitely be observant and learn people's ways, and um, and just if it doesn't work, then it didn't work, but you get another chance. So the next time, figure out what could I have done better. Always ask yourself, what could I have
And
done
it's
better?
not,
Even when, even when you've done the most magnificent thing, how could I have done it better though?
it's not failure, it's a lesson, right, Faye?
That, exactly. Life is a learning. It's about learning. So
Every day is a class. Every day is a class. It's almost like we have it as a tagline at the end of our episodes.
absolutely.
And that's what she said there in Holmes' room.
There you go.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Faye. I really appreciate you taking time to
Welcome.
answer our questions and entertain us and be a part of our Badass Women Boss Babe interview series. And it absolutely, as soon as Matt said, I don't know, maybe my mom, I said, yes, please ask her, ask her. I'd love to talk to her.
Yeah, Matt and we have some pretty deep conversations off and on. So I kind of appreciate it. Sometimes I feel like just dropping by his house because I'm ready for a conversation. But I mean, he's recommended books, and we've talked. We've had some great, hey, read this book, and then we'll discuss it. And I mean, just some great discussions with things like that. And it's just, it. I couldn't ask for a better son. I couldn't.
I didn't even pay her to say that. I didn't even pay her to say that.
No, it's nice when you can relate that way with your children. So, uh,
All right. I know
Oh,
you
of
said last
course.
question, but I got one question that I wanted to ask you, and it's on the air, so you have to answer honestly. What's the most important or biggest thing that I've taught you, Mom?
hmm, um, I don't know, son. You've taught me so many things. Probably, um, just to take it easy. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't
You
I'm at a
stumped her
loss.
on the last one, Matt.
That's what I was hoping to do. And then next time
Now
we
I
talk, she's like, I got an answer for that
yes,
question.
I'll have to think about that because
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Mom. I love you, and I
Mhm.
brag about you on here all the time. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I do all the time too. So, and to let go. Yesterday, I was telling um your aunt Charlotte, my sister, because they always want to know, what's going on with everybody, and I was telling her that you now have a blog, podcast, and she goes, "That Matt, he don't let no grass grow under his feet." So, because I think she was asking about, um, I think your helmet painting or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
She was asking about your business dealings, and I said, well, he's got a podcast right now, so. And she's like, yeah, he don't let no grass
No,
grow under his feet.
all right. That's my last one, Faye. I'm writing that one down too.
Good, better, best. Never let it rest. I'm sorry. I don't know who taught me that, but yeah.
Some lady.
She's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yep.
Well, again, thank you for being here. Thank you, Kaitlin, for hosting this episode and interviewing my mom. And I hope everybody enjoys it. I hope everybody learns something because, like we say, every day is a class.
Absolutely. Well, it was nice talking to you guys.
Thank you, Faye.
The bell is about to ring. If you want to drop us a voice message or simply ask a question, you can do that by clicking the link in the show notes below. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review. It helps more people find us. Theme music by Kinsey. More music available on Spotify. Remember, every day is a class. Go learn something.